and has access to reliable, high-speed broadband. Work, education, our healthcare, even check-ins from faraway loved ones require a broadband connection. Yet too many Americans still lack access to the essential services from the mountains of North Carolina to the military base at Fort Bragg in my district. Reaching those final unserved and underserved Americans requires funding. It also requires permitting reform. Often broadband deployment is prevented or delayed because of burdensome, opaque, and expensive permitting processes that exist at every level of government, federal, state, and local. These unnecessary obstacles not only increase cost for deployment, but they also delay progress for communities that have already waited, frankly, too long. We need to address these challenges if we hope to close the digital divide once and for all. The legislation we're marking up today does just that. First, we streamline the state and local permitting process by implementing clear timelines or shot clocks on application reviews and capping excessive fees. Next, we exempt certain projects, mostly those on previously disturbed lands, from having to perform cumbersome and duplicative environmental and historic preservation reviews. Finally, we reduce barriers to deployment on federal lands and increase coordination among different federal agencies. Together, these reforms will add much-needed certainty, predictability, and accountability to the broadband permitting process and help expedite deployment. Many of these ideas are not new. In fact, some have already been enacted by the Federal Communications Commission under then-Chairman Ajit Pai. The FCC reformed state and local permitting by implementing shot clocks on reviews, capping fees, and removing other barriers to deployment. These reforms accelerated the rollout of 5G and showed how streamlining this process can make a real difference. Congress needs to codify and build on these reforms so they last. We're on the verge of closing the digital divide and need to act now. After 4 years of delays caused by the Biden-Harris administration, deployment will soon begin through the $42.45 billion Broadband Equity Access and Deployment, or BEAD, program. But for these programs to succeed, permitting reform is essential. Otherwise, all this money will be tied up in further unnecessary reviews and bureaucratic delays. We cannot let the millions of unserved and underserved Americans continue waiting for the connectivity they need simply because we failed to modernize outdated rules. 6 of the bills we're marking up today are bipartisan. I'm pleased we found common ground on these reforms and hope we can continue working together to make the remaining bills bipartisan as well. Closing the digital divide has always been a shared goal of this committee, regardless of which party holds the gavel. We should not allow red tape and outdated bureaucracy stand between Americans and the connectivity they need to work, to learn, to innovate, and to thrive. I want to thank my colleagues for their continued commitment to this issue and for their work developing these proposals. I look forward to moving these bills through the committee and onto the floor so we can deliver results for the American people. I now recognize the ranking member, the gentlelady from California, for her opening statement.